What's up, guys, and welcome back to a brand new Free Tip Scout live stream with me, Free Tip Scout, on another very hot day. So if you missed yesterday's stream, we were absolutely sweltering because it was gorgeous. I'm sure wherever you were in the world, the weather's been amazing, and yeah, it was. We were melting basically as we were doing the stream yesterday, and I'm pretty much melting again today now as we're doing another stream. So we're going to be doing over the next couple of hours, we're going to be looking ahead as we melt. We're going to be looking ahead to the midweek in Sorare, which basically means we're going to start analysing and identifying opportunities in midweek games in Sorare that are worth targeting for you guys, and players that are maybe worth picking up or playing harder in your teams if you want to try and get some rewards. So that's what we're going to be focusing on mainly today. Now, it's a bit of an interesting midweek because there's not many games actually. So with a lot of the European seasons now finished, and with many American and Asian leagues actually not playing this midweek, there's only about 7 games that we can kind of look at, which is crazy, right? Because usually there's like 20, 30 plus games in a midweek. And this week there's only about 7. So that's pretty cool actually, because it means that we can look at all the games and we can kind of look at them in a lot of detail. We'll also be spending a lot of time today looking at Pooky again. So if you're unfamiliar with the game Pooky, then you will be able to find our link, first of all, in the chat right now. And we'll be covering Pooky, which is a Web3 sports prediction game, which I've been playing for the past month, and I've been having an absolute blast with it. I've been making some decent returns on it. So crypto that I've been earning, which has been fantastic and very easy to do. And I've been really enjoying the gameplay to it as well. So we spent quite a bit of time last week talking about Pooky, explaining how it works, and we will be going back through it again today, not only explaining some of the fine points about how to get the best out of Pooky, but also we'll be looking ahead to the next match day in Pooky and what games we should start to predict for and what those predictions should be. So there's plenty to get stuck into today. We'll also try to squeeze in some scouting, I think, because we've done a little bit of scouting yesterday. I'm currently in the process of restructuring my gallery on Sorare, which basically means that I'm trying to transition more out of limiteds and get more into rares. And so at the moment, I am basically selling pretty much all my limited cards in my gallery. So if you are looking for some limited cards, if you're looking for some new players, then feel free to drop me a message. Feel free to send me an offer. You can check out my gallery. You can see it on the screen right now, actually. So it's Free Tip Scout, of course. That's how you find me on Sorare. And then, of course, you can just type that into Sorare data as well, and you can have a look at my gallery and see what players are there for the taking and they're of interest to you. Now, not every single player is up for sale. I haven't really got around to doing that still yet, but pretty much every single player is. I'm open to receiving offers for pretty much every single player. Let's put it that way. So, yeah, let me know, guys, if you're interested, if you need some players for the midweek. Because I'm not looking to enter any teams for this midweek and then possibly this upcoming weekend as well. It's really going to be a case of just trying to restructure the gallery in this whole week and then trying to start buying some rare players. You can see here, look, this guy here, Zaid Romero, by the way, he's excellent. Zaid Romero's excellent. Now, what's really funny, actually, is that I had this guy before the start of the season. I picked him up for something like £1.50, £2, something like that. He's now about £13. So I probably sold him way too soon. Let's just go back, actually. When did I actually have him? Yeah, I sold him here, look. I sold him for £3.72 on the 16th of December. And yeah, his price is now, well, since I've sold him, his price has pretty much risen. It did drop a little bit here. It's nice to see that his price is up there again. How much did I pick him up for? Yeah, I picked him up for £2.79. So picked him up really cheap. Did sell him for a little bit of a profit, but obviously I could have sold him for way more. This guy's really good. He's really good, Zaid Romero. And you can see here, he has quite a good opponent score against Cologne this midweek as well. He's been delivering some really good scores recently as well. 79 here, 60, 100. His AA is quite consistent. So he's probably going to be one if you had the pockets for it. Also got the likes here of Rollheiser, very good player. His averages show that too. Under 23 for another year still. The big problem, though, of course, is that he's quite expensive. And to be honest with you, he's kind of around £35. I don't really feel like he justifies £35, to be honest with you. Yes, he has started to deliver some better scores recently, but he's not really delivered £35 worth of scoring in SO5. So this guy here, I think, is excellent. Big talent. Is he worth £35 at the moment? No, not at all. Not at all. It's good to see him doing better, right? But I think what you're really paying for here is you're paying for the under 23 utility and possibly his price rising a bit more because of the lack of games in the midweek. One to add to your list, I think, but because you can see here, I've already got him hearted. He's already in my watch lists because I like him. I think he's a big talent. So his limited was about 45p when I picked it up about a month ago, right? When did I pick it up? Let's have a quick look, actually, whilst we're talking about this. So I won him in auction, so back in April, right, for 45p. And I just had to pick him up because when you pick up a player like that for 45p at auction, that is the starting price at auction. As in, you can't get a player for lower than that at auction. So there was nobody else that bid on this card. I was the only one that bid on him. I won him on the initial bid, which is just insane to do at auctions. It's very rare to do. So I quite like that we've got a decent player here with the likes of Morales and Meluso. Now, Morales and Meluso are two guys that I'm selling right now. And if you are looking to have a proper go this game week, guys, at scoring well, then you really do need to start looking at Morales and Meluso, especially Morales, right? Because when Morales plays at home, his level of scoring can go through the roof when he plays at home. He can outscore someone like Meluso at home very easily. He's quite consistent anyway, Morales. His average is 61 over the past year. His AA is 20.9. He's delivered 5 goals and 4 last-minute tackles or clearances off the line. And he gives you a lot of scoring in the 80-point range and above, right? He never really DMPs. He only DMP'd here for 3 games because he was injured. But he starts every game, basically. He's one of their main players. And when you filter his scoring when he plays at home, his scoring is massive at home. Look at that, 63.2 average over 46 games, 22.6 AA, right? Loads of scores in this high end, loads. And look at most of his last games at home, right? Look at this here, 62, 98. These are his last home games in order, as in this was the last one, this was the one before that, this was the one before that, right? He's so consistently strong at home. 62, 98, 82, 64. Yes, he had a bit of a blip here, but then it's back again to being an absolute monster. 67, 80, 46, 60, 69, 76, 85, 74, 67, 92, 100. It goes on. It goes on. This guy is a joke at home. An absolute joke. When he plays away from home, he's a bit more of a different player, as in, like, you won't get that level of consistency and high end to him when he's away from home. And you'll see it here when you filter it by away. You will see, look, there's a complete difference. There's a total difference. So the Morales, when he plays away from home, I've always said this, almost just need to, like, either bench him or play him, but don't captain him, right? And then maybe play him in threshold. The Morales that plays at home, give him the captaincy. Give him the captaincy and watch him take you to a podium in Sorare. That's how good he is when he plays at home. Now, he's got a really tough opponent, technically, based on the opponent score here of 40, but I would expect Morales to still deliver a score of 60 points, potentially even 70 points at home here, because he just does it so often. You can pretty much rely on him doing it. So Morales, if you didn't already know about Morales, which I know a lot of you guys do now, right? Because you always see him in my teams. I'm often talking about this guy. But maybe you're new to Sorare and you don't know about this type of player, then this is the type of player to target in the midweek, but also for the rest of the season, because he can give you that high-level scoring that you need to really get the best prizes in Sorare. Here, look at Dumfries' L15. God, Dumfries is a bit of a cheat code actually this week, no? Dumfries with an L15 of 39. How much is Dumfries? Dumfries is £9.54. Dumfries is a cheat code here. Because when he plays for the Netherlands, right, in that wing-back system that they have, he's going to get a lot of opportunities to venture forward. And his opponent scores pretty good as well, 57. The only thing you have to factor in with Dumfries, right, is that he's one of those players that is very hit or miss. So he will make or he will break your game week. He does not really give you good AA scoring because he's often losing a lot of duels. He loses a lot of duels. He loses possession a lot because he's played as a right midfielder. So he's very adventurous. Plays most of the time at the higher end, the final third of the pitch. Trying to get in crosses, trying to probe with final passes. That's the thing with Dumfries, and we saw it in the World Cup actually, that Dumfries, during the World Cup, he delivered some really bad scores. I wonder if we can just have a little look at it actually. Let's go back to the World Cup actually. Here it is, here. Where is it? Yeah. Here, right? Yeah, match day 1, match day 2. So Dumfries delivered some shocking scores during the World Cup. So this is his score in the first match day, then the second match day, then the third match day. And then he has the potential though to deliver that, to do that. But then he also has the potential to do that. So you can see what I mean. He's real hit and miss, right? He'll make it or he'll make or he'll break your game week. And a home game against Croatia, he has the potential to make it. And with an L15 of 39, it makes him quite a good player to target. But we're now going to be moving on and we're going to be looking into Pooky. So this is a brand new Web3 sports prediction game that we've been covering all of last week, and we cover now every single time we go live. I'm having a lot of fun playing it. And if you guys don't know what Pooky is and you want to get started today, then you will be able to find that there is a link in the chat right now to get started. So use that link, sign up to Pooky with that link, and you'll be able to get 2 free Pokeballs, the rookie Pokeballs, which you'll be able to play in the amateur, basically the equivalent of the amateur. Need to play it. You can play it for free because it has a free-to-play league, which is this one here, the free-to-play basic league, right? But you can also see that like all the other leagues are locked because you need to be able to buy a Pokeball to then enter these leagues. And these are the pro leagues, which allow you to then basically earn cryptocurrency back every single game week. And it's really worth doing. And I'm going to explain exactly why it's worth doing, because you'll see my rewards. You'll see the how easy it can be to earn rewards in Pooky right now. This is the best time to get started on Pooky because there's not enough people playing it, as in it's still quite a young game. And so if you think about Sorare, when Sorare first launched, there were loads of managers that were basically picking up Salahs, and they were picking up Cristiano Ronaldo's, like all the best players, stupidly cheap, because they were the first in the game, basically. Prices were really low, and there was not a lot of competition, aka there were not thousands upon thousands and hundreds of thousands of people playing Sorare when it first launched, which meant that you could have the best players for cheap, and you could basically outscore most of the people. And it's kind of the same here, where you've got this early adopter advantage. So if you're early in the game here, which we are actually, then you can actually start to earn some great rewards. Is Pooky more rewarding than Sorare on a free-to-play basis? No, it's not. It's about the same. So you know how difficult it is on free-to-play in Sorare, right? If you're playing the amateur divisions. I'll show you now actually to show you, to put it in perspective, how the free-to-play on Pooky is there, I think, mainly just to kind of get new joiners used to how the game works, right? To see how it works and to get used to predicting games and how the attributes and stuff work, right? It's not the type of free-to-play kind of game mode where you can realistically grind for rewards. You can't really. I mean, there are rewards in there, but it's a little bit unrealistic to be thinking you can win them, because there's only 5 rewards each game week, and there's usually like at least 1,000 entrants in the free-to-play every single game week. So you've got 1,000 competing for 5 rewards. So that's why it's not more rewarding than Sorare. It's just as bad, I think, technically, as Sorare, as in it's just as difficult, right? because the amateurs we know are so difficult. There's like 200 awards, and then there's like over 100,000 people basically fighting for 200 awards. So it's another kind of competition to introduce you to the game and then show you what it's like and how it works, and then kind of give you that incentive to start to get into the pro leagues. And the pro leagues are well worth the investment, actually, which I'll explain in a minute. You can see here, we've got our pressure at 86 out of 100, right? Technically, yeah, we've got it at 86. It says 87, but here it says 86, right? Now, the pressure is something that you guys should be aware of, so that your balls always need to have quite a bit of pressure in them. So the more pressure that they have, so when your pressure's green, it means that you're not going to get any like points deductions or bonus deductions when you're making your predictions. And it also means that you don't get like less PXP. So if you're predicting with a ball that is kind of like has low pressure, you start to then get less prediction points and less PXP one from your predictions, and you really don't want that. So you always just need to try and make sure that your balls are pressurized. I think when we looked at this the other day or last week, I think our pressure went down to about 75, and then from kind of like 75 below, you start to get some points deductions. So your pressure goes down by 1 point after every prediction that you make. So if it gets to 75, that means that you've then used your Pokeball a minimum of 25 times to make a prediction. And you can do 25 predictions without getting negative points, right? Or negative points deductions. You can still make predictions with your pressure getting less than 75, but it then means that like you're going to be getting, as it says here, less points and less PXP. So we've got a lot of time left still here. We'll keep an eye on it, because when we make another prediction using this ball, it will then take this ball down to like 85. So we've still got a lot of time and a lot of predictions still to make with this ball before we need to start thinking about like refilling the pressure. So it's pretty cool. We're good with this for now. Can you use the same Pokeball for multiple different predictions? Says Venom. Yes, you can. Yeah, you can use. So let's just go back here. Let's first of all just quickly show you the basic league, guys, because that was a question that Strong Indiana has. So when you go to play and when you log in, this is the main page, right? And then you can get a Pokeball. So when you click this here, it shows you when the next drop is, which is in 1 day and 22 hours, guys. So this is the next drop to get one of these Pokeballs, and you really don't want to miss out on it, because you can get a common Pokeball, which is the lowest scarcity or the lowest rarity Pokeball in the game. And then you've got all the way up into Legend, which is the most expensive and the most rare. So there are very few of these in the game. You can see the common Pokeball here is only $19.31, right? It's about 30 Matic. It's really, really good value. The rare is $77, which might sound like a little bit, but trust me when I say that having a rare ball is going to give you the best possible start in the game, because the rare ball, and I've got just one rare ball myself, right? We bought our first rare ball last week, and I've been playing the game for a month now. And before I picked up the rare Pokeball, I had some of the common Pokeballs, right? And the common Pokeballs are fine too. They allow you to start playing the pro leagues, which you can then start to win some crypto in. But the difference in prestige and the difference in the bonuses that you get from a rare compared to a common are so huge that if you can get just say like one Pokeball, which is a rare one, I'd probably say do it. And then you can always just try and get commons later on. Let's go back here, because I wanted to show the free-to-play league, right? So you can see at the moment that we can access any league in the game, because we own at least one Pokeball, which is a common Pokeball or more. And you need to have at least one common Pokeball or more to access the pro leagues, right? And in the pro leagues, you can actually win the crypto, which is the Matic. Now, if you don't own a common Pokeball, that's fine. You can still play and try out and check out how the game works, Pooky, in the basic league, which is the free to play, right? So you open up the free to play and you see that you have 2 match days that you can compete in already. One of them starts in 8 hours time. The other one starts in 4 days time. And you can basically predict 4 games in each of these match days, right? Now, what you'll see here in the prize pool is that this is the Matic, right? So this here, this is the Matic. And you can see that in the free-to-play, there are no Matic available because you have to buy at least 1 Pokeball, or at least have 1 common Pokeball to start an Matic. You can earn the POC, which is basically like the Sorare coins. So this is the in-game currency for Pooky. And this is what you need as your currency to be able to pay for the level ups and to be able to pay for refilling your pressure, right, in your ball. This here is the common Pokeball. So what it tells you here in the free-to-play is that there's 5 Pokeballs here, 5 common Pokeballs to be won in each match day. However, what you can see is that for match day 32, there's 1,332 players that are basically all competing for 5 rewards. That's it. So you can already see that this is not the type of game mode, right, to be trying to do it free to play. This is a good game mode to kind of get used to the game and understand how the game works, right? And then once you've kind of given that a bit of a go and you think, you know what, I understand it now, I'm ready to start earning some Matic, then you can kind of put some money in and invest in a Pokeball, even if it's just 1 common Pokeball for $20. And then once you've got that $20 Pokeball, you can then basically compete in all these leagues unrestricted forever, as long as you have that Pokeball. On Pooky, if I was going to play the basic league as a free-to-play player in this match day, which starts in 9 hours time, I would probably go for this, which is not going to give you a huge amount of points, right? Because these points are based on the odds, right? So with the odds being quite low, it means that the amount of points you get can be a lot lower too. Now, if from looking at this game, we said, you know what, this is going to be a goal fest. It's going to be something like this, like 4-3, right? Then you can see that like the points you can get from this are so much higher because the chances of this actually happening, when you compare the stats and you look into like how effective these two teams have been home and away, this just looks like this would be almost impossible for this scoreline to happen based on how they're performing. They're both struggling to score goals. They're both struggling to get wins home and away. They're drawing a lot of games. Most of their games are under 2.5. So even though this looks attractive, right, the amount of points you can get, you never really need to be, and you shouldn't be being led by the amount of points. So what I mean by that is that when you're playing Pooky, you shouldn't be thinking, okay, like, what are the most amount of points that I can get? And then just basically picking that outcome. You do need to be consistent with trying to get at least some part of your prediction correct. You don't always have to have the correct score. Of course, you don't have to, but just try to get at least one part of the prediction right in every single game. And if you can do that, then you have a really good chance of, as I say, placing high up in the leaderboard and winning some fantastic crypto amounts. So this here, I think we are going to go with 1-1. It's not going to give us a high amount of points if we were going to predict it. But if this ends up being 0-0, right? If this ends up being 0-0, then you will still earn points here because you're then correctly predicting that it's a draw, even though it was a 1-1 that we predicted, right? If it ends up being 1-0 to Argentinos Juniors or 1-0 to Vélez, then you will still earn a decent amount of points here. And do you know why? Because you would be correctly predicting that it will be under 2.5 goals. So from a prediction point of view, if you go for something like this in your prediction, if you're looking to play Pooky in the free-to-play Basic League in this match day 2, I think this is a really good balance to help you maybe get a really good score to max out the points here. But if you don't get it 100% correct, I think there are, based on the stats, there's enough reasons for you to still be able to get a good amount of points here, right? Because it's top 50%. That is super generous, the top 50%. You know, like when you consider like in Sorare, you have to usually finish in the top 10% in these competitions, in the game modes, in the leagues, right? to be winning a card ward. It's top 50%. And as I've shown you guys on these streams, I haven't even really been super accurate with my predictions. Like, especially the last game week, right? Especially the last game week in the USA League. The fact that I finished 30th out of 422 players and I only got one correct score, as in like one score that was 100% correct, just shows you the opportunity here to really start to smash it and to almost rob the bank. It feels like robbing the bank a little bit when you can finish 30th and you haven't even really channel. We're going to be back again tomorrow, of course, at the usual time, guys, at 12 p.m. UK time. And we're going to be back tomorrow with probably a slightly different stream, because usually at 12 on a Tuesday, we are preparing for the midweek lineup, right? But I don't think I'm going to be entering a midweek lineup. Probably I'm going to be using that time just to try and shift my players out the door a bit more. But then if we can't do that, then I will probably put together a midweek lineup. So anyways, tomorrow at 12, we're going to be back again. Thank you for your incredible support. Go get some food now. Go enjoy the rest of your evening. Check out the highlights later on tonight. And yeah, I'll see all of you guys again tomorrow. So thank you so much and catch you tomorrow, guys.